Hello there. Welcome to Just the Discs. We talk about Blu-rays here. My name's Brian, and today I'm going to run through a selection of Vinegar Syndrome OCN partner label titles from, I want to say, February and March of 2024. Haven't had a chance to go through these, but wanted to at least make you aware of what they are and that they are available for order now at vinegarsyndrome.com. And I'll start with one of my favorite partner labels, and they have been for a long time, pretty much out of the gate, and that is AGFA. And one of their recent releases is Rocka Explosion. Now, this is a 2008 documentary, and it is the true story behind one of the strangest pop culture phenomenons of the 1980s. Before being sort of mysteriously replaced by Chuck E. Cheese, the showbiz pizza chain, and its animatronic rock band, the Rocka Explosion, took the U.S. by storm and eventually inspired the hit video game Five Nights at Freddy's. This documentary chronicles the rise and fall of showbiz pizza, the Rocka Explosion, and the obsessive fans who have kept the dream alive. Produced DIY style by filmmakers Brett Whitcomb and Bradford Thomason, who also did Glow, the story of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, which is also available on Blu-ray from AGFA at Vinegar Syndrome. The Rocka Explosion is a joyful, touching look at the importance of nostalgia and the internal quest to stay young. AGFA is excited to bring this overlooked doc to Blu-ray for the first time, complete with enough extras to inspire 1 million animatronic sing-alongs. So, this is the slipcase. It's a couple members of the band. And here is the artwork, which is lovely. So this one, AGFA always does a nice job with extras. This is a region-free Blu-ray preservation from the original digital master. So no elements outside of that, apparently. Commentary with filmmakers Brett Whitcomb and Bradford Thomason. Outtakes. Vintage creative engineering promo video. Vintage Toon Machine skit. Vintage Willy the Rabbit news broadcast. Vintage Pizza Party promo video. Vintage Uncle Clunk promo video. And the original home video trailer, behind-the-scenes photo galleries, English subtitles. So this is a cool-sounding doc that I am definitely very curious to check out. I've heard about it for a while, because obviously it's been out since 2008, and been meaning to see it because I grew up in the 1980s, and I definitely went to my fair share of birthday parties as a kid at both Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz, but I definitely remember the Showbiz Rocka Explosion band being both intriguing and frightening to me as a kid, because as you got closer to the stage, you could hear the animatronics like clanging a little bit, and you could as a kid I just remember being like, what is happening here? Are they robots? And going up to the stage and expecting them to kind of turn and look at you. And of course that doesn't happen. But yeah, obviously it does seem to have inspired an incredible franchise of not only a video game, now a movie series. But yeah, fascinating that there are people out there who remember this fondly enough to want to collect the actual animatronics. And it's I know it's going to be a really interesting doc to check out, and I'm very curious to hear the commentary as well. So that is the first one from AGFA, Rocka Explosion from 2008. Next up, we have the next new one from AGFA, which is The Last Slumber Party. Now, this one is one I've had on DVD for a while. I just remember it being one that was recommended to me from some pretty hardcore slasher fans who were into like the more obscure slashers. And this one is a surreal slasher from the wilds of New Orleans, and feels like a YA novel by R.L. Stine that was filtered through a haze of DIY madness. The story follows the foul-mouthed, sex-crazed Chris, played with gusto by Jan Jensen, Tracy Linda, Tracy and Linda as they prepare for the ultimate slumber party on their last day of high school. But little do the ladies know that the party is about to be crashed by a maniacal killer with a giant scalpel. Rejecting all forms of logic in favor of dreamlike mood, lifted scenes from Halloween, and songs by Metalhead's First Strike. This is the regional horror filmmaking at a magical peak. AGFA is thrilled to rescue The Last Slumber Party from the VHS wasteland, with a new restoration from the 16mm camera negative, plus enough extras to fill your next 3 slumber parties. In the words of Chris, let's munch out. So this is from 1988, 72 minutes, 133-1, region free. No alternate artwork, but they do have some stuff inside. But yeah, this is one like I said, I've had a DVD of it, and I kind of feel ridiculous when I don't watch something that I've had for a long time, but in a way, it turns out all right because this is the way to see it, a restoration from the 16mm camera negative. So that's very cool. So this is, it says restoration from the original 16 camera negative with inserts from the 16mm work print and 1-inch tape master. So that's something to keep in mind. It will have some inserts that may show a little different sign of quality, but regardless, it's going to be better than what I had on my old DVD set. Commentary with director Steven Tyler, star Jan Jensen, and cast and crew member Neil Alexander. Very cool. I love when they track down the original folks involved. Q&A from 2016 with Jan Jensen. Outtakes, original home video trailer, preservation VHS version from the 1-inch tape master. So you have, if you want to watch it in the VHS format, which I'm sure a lot of people saw it that way, that you can do as well. So very excited about this one. I'm a big slasher person, and so like when I saw this pop up, I'm like, okay, that's obviously something I got to check out. I've been waiting for a long time. I've heard it's pretty bonkers. So if you like not only slashers, but bonkers slashers, this is probably something you're going to want to have a look at. Where the girls are dying for a good time. Always a good tagline. Okay. Moving on to Canadian International Pictures, another one of my favorite of the folks over there on the OCN partner label side. This is Region Padovani. And as usual, Canadian International Pictures has brought something out that I've never heard of ever. In fact, they're batting nearly 1,000. Like, there's very few things they've done that I've heard of before, which is always intriguing to me as a big film person. So this is apparently a 50th anniversary special edition, and it is described as such. Montreal mafioso Vincent Padovani, Tadpole and the Whale's Jean Lajeunesse, has spent years building a diversified crime empire fronted by, quote, legitimate business interests and sustained through illicit political connections. Having secured a much-publicized government contract for his thriving construction company, Vincent is throwing an opulent private dinner to thank his many co-conspirators, including the mayor of Montreal, Blind Trust's Rene Caron, and a host of other highly placed power brokers. But when the evening is thrown wildly off course by the press at the door, a looming construction protest, the sudden reappearance of Padovani's estranged wife Region, the mob enforcers and corrupt cops that serve Vincent are called into action for a long and bloody night's work. 3 decades before winning the Best Foreign Language Film Oscar for the Barbarian Invasions, Denis Arcand started his fiction filmmaking career with an informal trilogy of Dirty Money, Region, Padovani, and Gina. So these are available. The others are available from Canadian International Pictures, I believe. I know Gina is. I'm pretty sure Dirty Money is as well. That remains the high watermark for Canadian crime cinema. Powered by an all-star Quebecois cast and mainly playing a thinly veiled version of real-life politicians and gangsters, Region Padovani is a grand, glorious, acidic indictment of the pervasive corruption that infiltrated all the corners of 70s Quebec, mixing upstairs, downstairs satire of the rules of the game with mafia intrigue of The Godfather. This is one of Canada's sharpest and most incriminating cinematic self-portraits. Very intriguing, and I love that they're putting out these kind of films in terms of like not just one, but the whole group. It's a region-free Blu-ray. This is from 1973, 94 minutes, 178 to 1 in French. Newly scanned and restored in 2K from 35mm original camera negative by Elephant Mémoire du Cinéma Québécois, with sound transferred and restored from the original magnetic final mix and optical track. Includes an audio commentary featuring author and Professor Anthony Kinnock. Shooting Region, new 24-minute interview with director Denis Arcand. New audio interviews with cast members Gabrielle Arcand, 10 minutes. Paul Balargian, 11 minutes. And Celine Lomez, 23 minutes. Trailers for Arcand's Dirty Money, 1972. This film, and Gina as well, 1975. And this one includes a booklet, which is cool. And it also has some nice reversible artwork, which I may swap out. And this booklet features a new interview with author Peter Edwards, the Encyclopedia of Canadian Organized Crime. So it's a thin booklet, but it does give you a little something extra. They know what collectors like over at Canadian International Pictures. So that is Region Padovani, and I have one more from them, actually. This is really exciting and really interesting, and I've just barely had a chance to scratch the surface with it, but this is Animation Night in Canada, Volume 1. I believe the first foray into animation for Canadian International Pictures. 14 Oscar-nominated shorts from the National Film Board of Canada. Long celebrated for its achievements in animation, the National Film Board of Canada has earned international acclaim and dozens of Oscar nominations for its animated shorts. During a particularly fertile period between 1965 and 1985, the NFB played an instrumental role in the medium's rapid evolution, breaking new ground with a wildly varied and inventive run of films that are alternatively abstract, eerie, entertaining, poetic, poignant, and psychedelic. An eye-opening overview of this seminal period in animated film history. Animation Night in Canada Volume 1 features 14 Oscar-nominated classics with the style and personality to spare. So we have, let's see here, Carlos Marchiori's The Drag from 1965, 9 minutes. Les Drew and Kaj Pinjol's What on Earth, 1966, 10 minutes. Ron Tunis, The House That Jack Built, 1967, 8 minutes. Norman McLaren's Pas de Deux, 1968, 13 minutes. Ryan Larkin's Walking, 1968, 5 minutes. Michael Mills' Evolution, 1971, 10 minutes. Yvonne Mallet's The Family That Dwelt Apart, 1973, 8 minutes. Bernard Longpre and Andre Leduc's Monsieur Pointu, 1975, 13 minutes. Caroline Leaf's The Street, 1976, 10 minutes. Ishu Patel's The Bead Game, 1977, 5 minutes. Hodman's Oscar-winning The Sandcastle, 1977, 13 minutes. Eunice Macaulay and John Weldon's Oscar-winning Special Delivery, 1978, 7 minutes. And Ishu Patel's Paradise, 1984, 15 minutes, as well as Richard Conde's The Big Snit, 1985, 10 minutes. So this is a Region A Blu-ray. All films restored by the National Film Board of Canada. 8 additional shorts from the directors in this collection. Norman McLaren's Oscar-winning Neighbors, 1958, 8 minutes. Yvonne Mallet's Boomsville, 1968, 10 minutes. Co Hedman's Matryoshka, 1970, 5 minutes. Les Drew's The Underground Movie, 1972, 14 minutes. Ishu Patel's Perspectrum, 1975, 6 minutes. Andre Leduc's Canada Vignettes, Instant French, 1979, 1 minute. Caroline Leaf and Veronica Soul's Interview, 1979, 14 minutes. And Ron Tunis's This Is Me, 1979, 27 minutes. As well as McLaren on McLaren, it's in 1983, 8 minutes. The legendary director of Neighbors and Pas de Deux reflects on his filmmaking career, so you have an interview there, as well as Alter Egos from 2004, 52 minutes. Lawrence Green's documentary about Oscar-nominated NFB animators Chris Londreth and Ryan Larkin, as well as, of course, a booklet featuring a new interview with animator and NFB head of animation from 1967 to 1972, Robert Verral. So you get this nice booklet here with that interview and some nice color photos. It's a nice booklet, and I love that they do include them. So yeah, I'm very excited about more animation in the OCN Vinegar Syndrome partner label collection. Obviously, Def Crocodile has been cranking on this stuff for a while, and so I'm really sort of excited to see Canadian International Pictures jump in with a nice compilation. Speaking of which, here's another new one from Def Crocodile, and this is an animated film. This is called Bubble Bath. It is from 1979. Bubble Bath Habferdo, as it's sometimes known, 1979, 79 minutes. Hungarian director Georgi Kovasny's wildly idiosyncratic animated musical is one of the most indescribably strange, personal, and totally irresistible cartoon features ever made. Shop window decorator Zolt burst into the apartments of his fiance's best friend, Aniko, paralyzed with fear at his impending marriage. Zolt is like an anxious hippie alley cat or an Eastern European Frank Zappa in a tux. Medical student Aniko, a more curvaceous and leggy postmodern Betty Boop, and both unsure of their attraction to each other, of the choices they've made, of what life has in store for them. As truly insane and surprisingly sexy mashup of style from 1920s Art Deco to 1960s psychedelia to 1970s, late 1970s louche Roxy music decadence. Bubble Bath is incredibly restless and creative, the bohemian love child of Bill Plimpton's off-kilter individualism and Ralph Bakshi's wonderfully warped, rubbery visual style. In other words, it's not quite like any animated film you've ever seen before. Sadly, this was director and animator Kovasny's only feature film after making a number of brilliant cartoon shorts at Panio Film Studio. He died of leukemia in 1983, shortly after its release. Bubble Bath has been beautifully restored by the National Film Institute in Hungary for its first ever U.S. release by Def Crocodile in Hungarian with English subtitles. So they've really been cranking on Hungarian and Romanian and foreign animated films, which is really admirable and really cool. They just did Bill Plimpton's The Tune. That's obviously an American film, so that's exciting. But I just love that they've made animation some kind of a priority in terms of the stuff that they're putting out. And I've really dug the variety of films, and this one sounds absolutely fascinating. I love the idea of something that is Plimpton-esque and Bakshi-esque at the same time. So this is a Region A Blu-ray. It is having a new commentary track by film historian Sam Deegan, new essay by film historian and Professor Jennifer Lind Barker, and that is included, of course, in the booklet here. Very nice little booklet from Def Crocodile. This also has an interview with Bubble Bath composer Janos Masic from 2021, 7 minutes. Restoring Bubble Bath 2021, 9 minutes, Dr. Ivan Karagyarto. A fascinating look at the restoration of this Hungarian animated classic featuring Georgi Raduli, director of the National Film Institute, and NFI film artists. But wait, there's much more. 5 rare short films from Georgi Kovasny. Monologue, 1963, 12 minutes. A lovely, surreal cutout animation in pre-Terry Gilliam Monty Python style. A wild combination of Victorian imagery and mod 1960s design. Metamorphosis, 1964, 7 minutes. 2 faces. A woman and a man blend and change, liquefy, reflecting the history of the 20th century art. Wavelengths, 1970, 9 minutes. Kovasny's abstract masterpiece with hints of Henri Matisse and its depiction of human forms floating in space, set to surreal soundtrack of radio broadcasts. That sounds very intriguing. Nights in the Boulevard, 1972, 9 minutes. Kovasny's stunningly beautiful hand-painted short of a night in the city, poets and lovers in cafes, a constant hum of music and drinks and conversation, done in a gorgeous post-psychedelic style with hints of Yellow Submarine and his feature Bubble Bath to come. A Memory of Summer, 1974, 10 minutes, painted animation at its finest in Kovasny's stream of consciousness portrait of life in summer, color and form, brushstrokes constantly morphing and changing, all driven by a kinetic rock score. And all the above shorts in Hungarian with English subtitles. Blu-ray authoring by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. Yeah, very intrigued by everything contained herein. This is a real packed set of, a film, which I really want to see, and a whole bunch of shorts. So, again, very cool stuff from our friends at Deaf Crocodile. Then we have one more from Deaf Crocodile. This is World War III. And this is a more recent film. This is from 2022. The official Iranian entry for Best International Feature Film at the 2023 Academy Awards, and the winner of the Orizzonti Awards for the Best Film and Actor at the Venice Film Festival 2022. Director Human Sadi's savage, mysterious thriller drama World War III is one of the darkest, most enigmatic portraits of class inequality, desperation, and murder since Lee Chang-dong's Burning and Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. Mohsen Tabadeh delivers an unforgettable performance as Shakib, an anonymous day laborer still grieving the deaths of his wife and son, who's given a job guarding the set of a film about the Holocaust. When the lead actor playing Hitler is struck ill, Shakib is enlisted to wear the costume and mustache, and for the first time in his life, he has a little money, respect, and a place to sleep. Unexpectedly, his sex worker girlfriend, Layden, shows up, threatening to upset his tenacious hold on prosperity. When Layden suddenly disappears during filming, it sets off a violent chain of events. What starts out as a dark satire of the Iranian film industry quickly evolves into a near Hitchcockian thriller of the underclass struggling violently to be heard, to be seen, with an apocalyptic ending that is truly something to behold. Rated 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes in Persian with English subtitles. 107 minutes. 2.1 to 1, so a widescreen movie. Very cool. Region A, this one includes a new hour-long interview with director Human Sadi and co-writer Azad Jafarian, moderated by Dennis Bartok of Deaf Crocodile, in Persian with simultaneous English translation. New commentary by film critic Walter Chaw from Film Freak Central. I'm a big fan of Walter's work. Always enjoy his commentaries. Blu-ray authoring again by David Mackenzie of Fidelity in Motion. So this is an interesting turn for them. A recent film. I don't think they've done a ton of those, but it does sound like a really neat movie, and one that obviously has already won quite a few accolades, I would imagine, for good reason. So that is World War III from Deaf Crocodile. Next up, we have one from Dekanalog, another label that I really enjoy their stuff. This one is from 2020. This is another more recent film, which they've done quite a few of. It is set in a small town in the 1970s West Germany, where Stephanie, played by the charming Zelda Aspenscheid, as a young child, and a surly Miriam Schweck, 10 years later, is raised by two parents who have no business having children. The mother suffers from an unspecified medical condition, one both mental, and physical. The father makes it clear that he has no patience for his daughter. Young Stephanie takes solace in exploring the mysteries hidden away in the increasingly untidy house, particularly the trunk full of her grandfather's butcher's equipment. Old Stephanie takes far more sinister comfort in the tools found therein. Throughout the film, director Sabrina Mertens and cinematographer Jan Fabi use a static camera. There are no close-ups, and characters are often not centered in the frame. Sometimes they are obscured by a piece of furniture. It isn't always clear what's happening. The lighting is flat and naturalistic. There is so much darkness that it's difficult to get a sense of place. The house feels like a labyrinth of stuff. There are piles of clothing, crockery, furniture, and newspapers everywhere, even in the bathroom. As the film progresses, the piles grow larger, and there is less room for the family. The oppressive formalism lingers in the many shadows with a quietly sadistic grin. 57 vignettes adding up to a cryptic whole. I am fascinated by this kind of filmmaking. I mean, this is not exactly, but sort of along the lines of what I was seeing from early Jim Jarmusch, where he would just set the camera up, lock it off, and play a scene. Obviously, this is a more artistic realistic approach in that, they're not even bothering to center things or light things properly. And I find that sort of viewing experience to be this whole other voyeuristic, mesmerizing kind of thing. So I'm very intrigued by the idea of this film and what it's sort of, propending to show, sort of trying to demonstrate. So it sounds really intriguing, and I do trust the taste of the folks over at Dekanalog. They really do have a great sense of interesting films and filmmaking. This is 82 minutes. It's in German. A Region A Blu-ray. It has a new interview with writer-director Sabrina Mertens, new interview with co-star Freya Kritzkam, Q&A at the Nighthawk Cinema in Brooklyn, New York Summer 2023 with filmmaker Sabrina Mertens, actress Freya Kritzkam, and Karen Coleman of The Future of Film is Female. So that, as well as over 20 minutes of deleted scenes and behind-the-scenes footage, Gentle Moments, a short film starring Freya Kutzkam by filmmaker Sabrina Mertens, new essays by Sam Deegan, Stephanie Monahan, and Elizabeth Horkley, all included in a lovely, pretty thick booklet. This is actually a very thick booklet for this kind of release. So again, yeah, this sounds just kind of weird, intriguing. I don't even know what to make of it, but I am definitely going to be checking this one out. This kind of, like I said, this kind of filmmaking just kind of gets me sometimes. I don't always have patience for slow filmmaking, but sometimes when it's set that way, I don't know, it kind of gets me. So that's the new one from Dekanalog. Now we have another one from Enjoy the Ride Media. This is called the United States of Insanity. And this is a 2023 film. It is about the Insane Clown Posse, the world's most hated band, quote unquote. The notorious rappers of the Insane Clown Posse find themselves as unwitting warriors for the First Amendment after they and their 1 million diehard fans, called Juggalos, are labeled a gang by the FBI. With the help of the ACLU, the band fights to uncover the reasons behind the designation and get removed from the gang list as their fans begin to losing their jobs, having their children put into protective custody, and facing jail time, all because of their musical tastes. I do find that pretty alarming. I'm not a fan of their music. I'm not. The Juggalos are an oft maligned and made fun of group. But I can certainly respect somebody that's hardcore about the music that they like, and I had not heard about this particular conundrum and the legal ramifications of it, So another interesting documentary. I find that Enjoy the Ride is really interested in this kind of sort of a varied group of documentaries that they've put out, but a lot of them having to do with popular culture and music and films and games. And I think that's really neat. So this is a region-free Blu-ray special intro from Insane Clown Posse. It includes an Insane Clown Posse concert, deleted and extended scenes, poster gallery, teasers and trailers, English subtitles. So that's a new 99-minute documentary about Insane Clown Posse. And then next we have another documentary from the Enjoy the Ride Media folks. This is Everything to Entertain You, the story of Video Headquarters. And this is a 2023 film as well. So this is the story of Video Headquarters. So it's a documentary about one of the greatest video stores in the country, Video Headquarters from Keene, New Hampshire. I had not heard of this store, but I love any propping up of a video store. The store existed for 32 years from 1983 to 2015. Its owner, Ken McAleer, was a prominent figure among independent video store owners, and this documentary examines how one man with a single video store far outside the film hubs of New York and LA can have such a big impact on the industry. The store, voted the best video retailer in the country in 1997, not only served as the cultural institution in Southwest New Hampshire, but Ken McAleer served prominent roles in trade organizations and buying groups to help bolster independent stores around the country. This documentary is as much about Ken and his contributions to the industry as it is about the store. And I like that idea, by the way, that it's about the personality behind the store. I love seeing the stores, and if there are employees, like seeing all of them, but maybe the driving force behind this one, and that sounds fascinating to me. So a labor of love from a first-time filmmaker and former employee. This nostalgic look back at the video store era includes interviews with Ken McCallier, former employees, customers, comic artists, and former video store owner Stephen Bissett, and a treasure trove of archival audio, video, photographs, and documents from the store. It sounds like the kind of thing that I like in terms of documentary, the archival video, the photographs and videos that take you back, or like a time machine. I love that stuff. So the director is Brantley Palmer, and it's a 60-minute doc, region-free Blu-ray. It includes an audio commentary from the director, extended and never-before-seen interviews, radio interview about the film, a making-of documentary, a featurette on the score, featurette on the documentary's titles, interview with film archivist and historian Justin LaLiberty, also included. So a lot of great bonus features there on this one, everything to entertain you, the story of video headquarters. So I'm definitely curious about this one as well. And then we have something from Utopia. I've seen a little buzz about this one from some folks online. This is called Another Body, and it is from 2023, another new film. And it's about a college student searching for answers and injustice after discovering deepfake pornography of herself circulating online. Directed by Sophie Compton, Ruben Hamlin, 80 minutes. This one, that's all I know about it, really. Includes a director's commentary with Sophie Compton and Ruben Hamlin, Film Fest Munich director interview, IDA Fall Docs Q&A panel with the Hollywood Reporter's Mia Gallupo, and South by Southwest panel, Deepfakes and Documentary with Adam Dodge and Mia Gallupo, the Hollywood Reporter, Q&A with actress Juno Temple. And I think that's part of the reason that this one is so known in some sense. But yeah, I'm very, very curious about Another Body. The idea of deepfake porn being done is just kind of alarming, but I'm imagining that it's the kind of thing that could and maybe does happen. And so that's, I don't know, intriguing and scary to me, ultimately. But yeah, so this is one that seems to be rated pretty well on Letterboxd, but underwatched. Very curious about this one. So this is Utopia, an official selection of Hot Docs 2023, and a South by Southwest winner as well. So that is Another Body. And then we have one from Music Box Films. This is called Signature Move, and it is from 2017. In Chicago, Zainab is a 30-something American Pakistani lawyer who lives with and cares for his recently widowed TV-obsessed mother, legendary Indian actress Shabana Azmi. Alma is a free-spirited Mexican-American bookshop owner. After meeting in a bar, the two quickly fall into bed with each other and embark on a romance, but problems aren't far behind. Zainab's traditional mother still expects her daughter to marry a man, while Alma finds herself reluctant to get involved with the closeted Zainab, leaving them at odds despite their strong attraction to each other. And there's Zainab's latest interest, training in lucha-style wrestling with a former pro grappler, winner of the Grand Jury Prize for Best U.S. Narrative Feature at Outfest, and a worldwide festival darling following its South by Southwest premiere circuit. Critics and fans alike agree on the film, calling a gem by the Chicago Sun-Times, directed by Jennifer Reeder, 80 minutes from 2017. So this is the slipcase for Signature Move, and then the artwork inside. This includes a feature audio commentary by Fazia Mirza and director Jennifer Reeder, a video production diary, those are always fun, an interview with director Jennifer Reeder, interview with Fazia Mirza, interview with Sari Sanchez, conversation with Shabana Azmi, Zainab Loves Movies vignette, English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing. This is an English film. Yeah, so very cool. Yeah, I don't know much about this one, but it sounds like a fascinating romantic movie with some interesting elements. Okay, lastly, we have stuff from the crazy folks over at Saturn's Core. We have The Zombie Army. This one is from 1991. Let's see here. I'm just curious if this is, I'm assuming, a shot-on-video title. Yes. The Pentagon has purchased an abandoned insane asylum as a training ground for the Lethal Ladies, an elite experimental female combat unit. Unfortunately, 2 former psychotic inmates were left behind in the asylum's deserted fallout shelter. One is a shock therapy-obsessed lunatic who fancies himself as a psychiatrist. The other, an unhinged nymphomaniac hell-bent on lethal seduction. Together, they wreak havoc by capturing soldiers and turning them into mindless zombies by means of electricity. Trapped within the subterranean catacombs of the old asylum, the Lethal Ladies must rally their troops and do battle with the flesh-ripping hordes of the living dead. Shot in Wilmington, Delaware, and utilizing a real abandoned asylum location, the Zombie Army was the brainchild of former military vet turned writer, producer John Kalinowski, who harnessed local cable production talent to help realize his dream of staging a regional SOV zombie epic. Directed by local high school drama coach Betty Stapleford and featuring an amateur cast of hundreds firing live ammunition rounds. The Zombie Army is an outrageous eruption of exploding heads, melting faces, eyeball gouging, acid showers, gut-munching gore, and surprising nudity. Directed by a woman and featuring an oddly empowering feminist slant, the Zombie Army would go on to become a 90s rental store and fanzine favorite that continues to bewilder unsuspecting audiences. 1991, 82 minutes. Region-free Blu-ray includes a commentary by Richard Mogg, author of Analog Nightmares, the shot-on-video horror films of 1982 to 1995. That's cool. I didn't even know about that book. I got to check that out. Incubators of Death, The Asylum in Horror Cinema, a visual essay by Dr. Will Dodson and Ryan Verrill of Someone's Favorite Productions. Love those gentlemen. I love that they've gotten a lot of work, and I'm sure in this year we're going to see a lot of their stuff coming to fruition on a lot of Blu-ray releases from various different labels. So very cool about a Someone's Favorite Productions feature on this one. Analog Outlaw, distributor, filmmaker J.R. Bookwalter discusses the Zombie Army, and The Videomakers, a 3 episodes of the vintage cable access TV show hosted by writer-producer John Kalinowski, archival contest video, isolated music by the Kill Toys, reversible sleeve, etc. So that is one, and then we have Severe Injuries, also from Saturn's Core, and this one is from 2003, and it says Melvin Hubble, Charlie Fleming, is the last in a long familial line of extremely unsuccessful serial killers. In an attempt to fulfill his father's dying wish, he takes one final stab at glory by sneaking into the Row sorority house on the eve of the girls' prospective slumber party. Unbeknown to Melvin, another killer with serial homicidal intentions is also loose in the same house, surrounded by a bevy of horny and brainless sorority bimbos. Only the bookish psychology major Lauren has the wherewithal to perceive the imminent danger afoot. Satirical send-up of the sorority house and slumber party slasher epics of the 1980s. It's neat to have the last slumber party in this discussion as well, as this is probably sending that up as well. Severe Injuries marked the directorial debut of prolific actress and filmmaker Amy Lynn Best, one of the most unique and dynamic female voices to emerge from the primarily male-dominated micro-budget SOV scene. Features performances by a veritable who's who of B-movie heavyweights, including Debbie Rochon, Robin Griggs, Lilith Stabbs, Lloyd Kaufman, Brink Stevens, Jesse Cotton Lanier, and Riley Morgan. Severe Injuries presented a tongue-in-cheek just deconstruction of slasher film conventions that slightly predated the wave of neurotic genre pasquinades such as Behind the Mask and Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. So the 2003 64 minutes region-free Blu-ray, new 2023 commentary with director Amy Lynn Best and writer Mike Watt, archival commentary by director Amy Lynn Best, writer Mike Watt, and actress Robin Griggs. Archival cast commentary with actors Charlie Fleming, Tim Gross, and Jim Steinhoff. Ouch, 20 Years of Severe Injuries, a new 2023 retrospective doc, 45 minutes. Archival interview with director Amy Lynn Best. Archival interview with actress Spring Stevens. Archival unset cast and crew interviews. Outtakes and deleted scenes. Poster art. We Are Girl, 2002 short film directed by Amy Lynn Best, starring Debbie Roshan. We Are Girl outtakes. Archival We Are Girl interview with Secret Scroll Digest. We Are Girl threesomes on set cast interviews. Zombie Gone 2015 short by Amy Lynn Best. 745 of the Dead 2011 short film by Amy Lynn Best. And Neck Up 1995 short film by writer Mike Watt, as well as a reversible sleeve. So Saturn Score, again, cranking on a ton of extra features for this new release from them. Sounds like really great stuff. So that will do it for a lengthy summation of some recent Vinegar Syndrome OCN titles. Again, head over to vinegarsyndrome.com, click on the Partner Labels tab, and you can find any and all of these titles you'd like to pick up. Thank you so much for listening, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.